Live on air.
Hi, everybody.
And now let's jump into the episode. Hello and welcome to Paradise. You are listening to the Green Dudes podcast, the only Green Day podcast that matters. You are here with myself. I'm Connor Mack, the host of this very podcast, and I am here with my best pal in the Green Day verse, Green Day comrade in arms, and my dude wife for life, Mr. Connor Kelly. How the heck are you doing?
I'm doing pretty, to borrow a millennial phrase, Connor, I'm doing pretty heckin' good.
All right, you're doing you're doing as good as a heckin' pupper
Yeah,
would be
a
doing
heckin',
after
a heckin' pupperino. Yep,
heckin' pupperino after some biscuits.
that's right. Can't you tell?
Yeah, no, I can tell. You look good. You look good.
Thanks, thanks.
Did you shower
Uh,
recently?
um, hmm, recently. I
It
mean,
just looks
not
like
to.
your hair is wet.
Oh, it's
It's
not.
not?
It's
Okay.
not. It's
That's
not
probably
wet.
grease. Probably grease.
Yeah. Yep. It's not grease.
Well,
I did. I
okay.
put. I have like a sea salt spray that
Okay.
I will sometimes put in my hair. The thing is, I put it in yesterday, and like a day out from putting it in, it does kind of make my hair look a little greasy. It looks great the first day I put it in, and then the next day it might look a little greasy. But that's kind of a look too, I think.
No, it is. It is. Yeah, especially in like the New York hipster scene, which
Right.
is which you're firmly a part of.
Yeah. Yep.
You're kind of like the king of the hipsters,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and I still wear my fedora proudly when I walk down
Yeah,
the streets of Williamsburg, and people
you
say,
do.
"There he goes, king of the hipsters."
It's the last of the real ones.
That's right.
Uh I I I don't know. Fedoras don't they kind of precede hipsters?
Well,
The
I mean,
hipsters that we know?
um,
Wasn't that was a thing before like the this era of hipsterism began? I
I
feel
don't.
like
It depends what era you're talking about. It's kind of like with ska. It's like what wave are we discussing here?
yeah, true.
Because when I think of like when we were kind of coming of age in high school, I do think that fedoras were associated with hipsters. It was sort of like it was suspenders, fedoras. It was very much sort of in that stomp clap Mumford and Sons, a lot of like I don't know, like Fleet Foxes.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm
No,
trying to
that's a
say?
great
Like
yeah.
that kind of
Uh-huh.
like that's what I think of. That's where like my mind is locked, and I still go back to when I hear the word hipster. PBR, you know what
Uh-huh.
I'm saying?
I totally get what you're saying. You're right. You're right. Um yeah, I mean I guess the last of the hipsters. Hipsterism has definitely evolved beyond
Oh yeah,
fedora.
yeah.
Um and
No,
I
I mean
mean
now hipsters try to look. I mean, I shouldn't say that they weren't trying to do this before, but it's like the thing now is I think you kind of want to look, uh, just maybe to borrow a word, poor.
yeah.
It's like, oh well, and that's kind of always the thing. It's like thrifting and this and that, and I think no matter how the look changes, I feel like hipsterism is kind of associated with essentially like borrowing the aesthetic that is associated with struggle without experiencing it yourself. That's like what I think of as a hipster is like using using the aesthetic of like a typically like a more creative but oftentimes oppressed kind of working class deal because you think it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that sums it up uh pretty well. And like the best of the old age of hipsters, you are You're carrying the banner. We all know that you are a trust fund kid, and
That's right.
here you are with a tattered up T-shirt, greasy hair, and
Mm-hmm.
you got a hole in your fedora.
Yeah, that's right. This is all for the aesthetics. Of course, I'm a trust fund kid. How else could I possibly be doing all these podcasts?
True.
What
Yeah.
free time would I have otherwise to do all these
hmm
podcasts?
I know that's a question that's a question I ask myself about you every day. I'm like, oh wait, yeah, he is a trust fund kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of sense.
But you're the real deal. You're the
Oh
real
yeah, no,
deal, my
I'm
friend.
the real deal. I mean I eat, breathe, sleep podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I sustain myself, how I survive. Um, Not everyone can do it, but I'm cut from a different cloth.
Mm-hmm.
Connor, today is we're recording this on Sunday, February 9th, which
That's right.
is it is the day of the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Super Bowl. Which one is it?
Sunday.
Well, Super Bowl. Yes, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Yes.
I don't know. I don't know what number we're up.
it's it's either Super Bowl 60 or 59.
Okay.
I think it might be 60 because the reason I know that
Mm-hmm.
is because the Super Bowl is it's as old as my dad.
Oh, that's funny. So you don't know
Yeah.
how old your dad is what you're saying.
Well, no. His birthday's coming up in a few weeks, and he will be 60. So I'm not sure if it's like if if the Super Bowl came just a few weeks before he did, or if it was like the year after was the first Super Bowl.
Right.
I'm not totally sure. Um,
Wow. Wow. That's pretty crazy though.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. And
That's cool.
so I just wanted to kind of touch it, because I know you're a big Super Bowl head.
Yeah. But don't tell my hipster friends
No,
because
of course not. I'm not gonna. I
that's
wouldn't tell them
that's
that.
gonna ruin the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Unless you watch it ironically.
Which you will be doing.
Well, actually, me and my friends were gonna have an ironic puppy bowl viewing later.
Okay. Okay.
So they're all gonna come over with their fedoras, and everyone's gonna bring a case of PBR, and we're just gonna get smashed watching the puppy bowl.
And
Ironically,
it's ironic because you hate dogs.
yeah,
You hate dogs.
yeah. No, my friend Wheaton put a puppy in a sock one time and just
Yeah.
hurled it around the room. It was
Yeah, that's
okay.
really
It was it
that's
was
really
it was
terrible.
okay. It was. It
It
ended
was
up
fine
being
afterwards.
okay, but the fact is that it happened. So
And just to be clear, that friend that's Will Wheaton, right?
that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't want to say his full name.
Famous hipster
I didn't want to say his full name on the podcast, but yeah.
Will Wheaton, he's known best for
Throwing puppies around in socks.
yeah. Um in all actuality, kind of we're missing out. The Puppy Bowl is happening right now as we speak.
Yeah, no, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Did you get a chance to see any of it?
I watched the trailer for the Puppy Bowl. I'm not
You
kidding.
watched the trailer?
I'm not kidding. Because I was just like scrolling through HBO Max, which I gets airing on there. And it's like coming soon, the Puppy Bowl, and I'm like, dude, let's see what the Puppy Bowl trailer is all about. So I
Yeah.
did watch it, unironically. By the way, it was a genuine Puppy Bowl trailer viewing. Thought it looked fine.
Yeah. I think the trailer was directed by James Gunn.
Gotcha. And produced by Will Wheaton.
Produced by Will Wheaton. No, but I actually I did watch a little bit of the Puppy Bowl.
You did? Okay.
I did, yeah. And I gotta say, the dogs, they're cute. They're very cute animals, obviously. And I like they had an emphasis on adopt, don't shop, which I
Mm-hmm.
think the dog show on Thanksgiving, that's those none of those are adopted. Those are all
No,
shop
those are all like
dogs.
purebred.
Those are all purebreds, yeah.
I think that's like the Eukanuba to Tournament of Champions dog show.
Sure.
Something like, come on,
Yeah,
come on, it
totally.
plays every
Yeah.
fucking thing. Thanksgiving,
I know
dude.
you could knew yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
Um,
you fucking hate dogs. This is where this is going. You're
no,
the
no,
one
no,
who
no.
fucking hates dogs. You're like, oh yeah, the puppies are pretty cute, and it's nice that they say to adopt them, but
No, 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 no. So no. There's. I think it's a very cool event. I like it a lot. The puppies are all very very cute. It's fun watching them run
yeah, but
around.
there's a butt coming. What's the
Well,
butt?
the thing is like what is this game they're playing? You know, like like how can how can you really tell which dog is winning? Like like I'm not making any accusations here, okay? I'm sure the people, the producers and everything, they work really hard. The ref works hard, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it's like it makes me feel like these dogs are just like randomly running around and the
Mhm.
announcers are just like making shit up as they go along.
Yeah.
That's just the vibe I get.
Right. Right.
You know, like there's no there's like no rules.
Mhm.
There's no actual rules for the game,
Do
you know?
do you think that if you sat down and explained the rules of football to a group of like 20 fucking puppies that like they would just be like, "Oh yeah, you got it, boss." Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm not I'm not making a proclamation on if they could or if they couldn't. You know, I don't know. I think every puppy's intelligence level is different. You know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't. It's my impression that they didn't even try to do that.
Yeah.
They didn't even
The
sit down with these
I
guys and
I
they're like, "Hey,
think
this is how you play."
if you watched the history of the Puppy Bowl, like if you watched the Puppy Bowl throughout the years, I think you'd actually find a trend where it initially started off much more football related, and it was like, "Oh, we are gonna get these puppies to play football."
Okay.
And then as time went on, it was kinda like, well, people are tuning in because they wanna see cute puppy antics in, just like a football framing device.
Uh
These are essentially like the football hipsters of the puppy world,
huh.
you know?
The football hipsters of the puppy world. Yeah, yeah.
It's the clearest way I can say it. I mean, if you don't get it after that,
Well,
then
no, I
you're
mean
you're out.
there were a couple of puppies wearing fedoras, so
Yep.
it does make sense. But I mean, honestly, I would just kind of I do want to know the answer to this because even okay, even if the puppies they don't know what a game is, they don't know how to play a game, they don't know up from down. You know, a lot of puppies are very stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you were saying that their intelligence level differs, but go
well,
on.
I'm just being real here. A lot of puppies are really stupid.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
so like even if they don't know the rules of the game, I just feel like there should be boundaries and rules that they're held accountable by, and that's up to
Mhm,
the ref and to the judges.
mhm.
And I just don't know if they're doing their job. I don't know if they're if they have done their due diligence.
No, I agree.
Um,
I think the toughest, not I shouldn't say the toughest, but one of the tough things too is like, there's just like around this time with the Super Bowl itself, there is a lot of gambling that goes on around the Puppy
yeah.
Bowl.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And these are real people's lives that are at stake.
Yeah, very much
This
so.
is fortunes, people taking out insurance policies, people betting their last fucking mortgage payment,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and if the people responsible for maintaining the integrity of the puppy bowl are not going to do it, then that all I'm trying to say is that has an impact. That is a real world impact. There's consequences
Yeah.
if people just look the other way when fucking Scribbles is just taking a leak down at the end zone.
I mean, that was really fucked up of Scribbles to do that
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
And no, I agree. They're not taking the gravity of the situation seriously. I mean, even to the point, you know, I heard obviously we know the Hawk Tuah girl she's been in hot water for these
Mhm,
last few months,
mhm,
and just recently, you know, her podcast came. I'm sure you know Talk to the podcast, the best podcast of the year, really.
mhm.
Came back just recently and she apologized for everything for the meme coin that
Mm.
you know she like stole a
It
bunch of people's money and stuff.
it would have been really funny if she just came back with a new episode and didn't say anything about it at all.
Well, I mean that's the way she should have done it. You know,
Yeah.
like I mean, that's the way that people in her like inner circle or the people in that kind of world, that's
Hmm.
how they all operate. So why not, why not just be one of them? So I guess
Yeah.
she does. She shows some integrity, but she announced that her plan to make everyone's money back was that she placed these big bets on the Puppy Bowl,
Hmm.
and so I hopefully it pays off. She did, but she put a lot of money on Scribbles, and we know what happened last year.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, crossing my fingers that it
Yeah,
works out. I don't know. People were gambling on the meme coin, and now she's gambling on the puppies. It's like where does it end? Where's the line?
I know. I mean, that's kind of that's the telltale sign of an addiction to
Hmm.
gambling. So
Hmm.
we'll
Hmm.
see what happens. Anyways, Connor, Green Day is in China.
Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is. Green Days in China. That was not on our bingo card.
No, I mean it wasn't. I think it was announced. It was announced before we made
Right.
the bingo card, so
Right. We knew they were. Everyone knew they were going to be in
that
China,
would have been a first base.
but right now they are there. They are there
Yes, yeah.
now.
Yeah, and so the show they played apparently went off without a hitch. Very it seemed like it was fun. They played
Hmm.
what did they do? They played Revolution Radio,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
That's
Why? Because you feel like they're going to cause a stir in China.
no, I'm just
The
I mean
people
I
are going
think
to rise up and revolt.
against um well they're and I think they're in Hong Kong, and that's kind of like that's like it doesn't really even count as China, so um I think it's like very Americanized, but no, I was just pointing that out because
Because they haven't
that's
been.
kind of a rarity. Yeah,
Yeah, they
they
haven't been
haven't played
playing.
that
Yep.
in quite a long time. Well, since I think they played it at a couple of those warm up shows, but like before they announced Saviors. But it's a pretty cool gem.
Yeah.
But they're playing Malaysia in a few days time. In that, we talked about that controversy with 1975 and Matty Healy and stuff where
Um.
if
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
yeah
Because what he it was it because he kissed someone of the same
yeah
sex? Did he
yeah
right?
he I think he kissed a band member or something, and it
Yeah.
was like a
Yeah.
protest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I remember now. Yep.
but and again, this could be me talking out of my arse, but from what I have heard, um they almost didn't book that band because of their like lyrics and stuff, like they don't want any political songs, they don't want any songs that talk about drug use or swear.
Hmm.
So I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they've like loosened those regulations for Green Day, or if Green Day does a dramatically different set in
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Yeah. True. Right. It's like, are they going to play Bobby Sox? Are they going to play Longview? Or they?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean those rules that like that strips away like 75% of their discography. So
Mm.
that'll be
So
we'll
we
see.
could be in for one of the most unique and rare Green Days
Yeah,
that they're going to be like, fuck,
it's possible.
we're gonna
Yeah,
have to play Nice Guys Finish Last. We're gonna have to play, you know,
yeah.
they're gonna have to be a little creative. They're gonna have to jump around a
And
bit.
play at the library.
That's right.
Um,
And then they're gonna end with Blood, Sex, and Booze just for
yeah, and
kicks.
then just Malaysian police
Yeah.
storming the stage with their
Yep.
guns and shoot everyone dead. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's not what happens, but
No. No. No.
we
No.
will we'll have to wait and see. Connor, today on the podcast we are talking finally at long last. This is another big one.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the biggest fish that we've caught so far.
Yep.
It is I think
A big old wriggling fish.
a big old wriggling fish.
Give it to us raw and wriggling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
Do you
how I
remember
feel.
that? You
That's
remember that?
exactly how I
Yes.
feel. I remember
Yes.
that. I
You know,
really do
you
remember
know
that.
you know
I
what I'm talking
remember
about,
it.
right? Like, you know
I
why I
do.
did that, right?
I
And
100% do. I
you
don't even have
even you
to don't
remember
even have
you
to say it.
remember what that's from, like, what I'm referencing,
Of
right? Like,
course I do. Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, do you just want to tell it just so everyone on the podcast
No,
knows?
no, no, it's
Oh,
just fun.
okay.
I just wanna
Yeah.
just it's for you and me, you know?
Okay, cool. Just like like something we share, just the two of us. We
Just the
like
2 of
it's just like,
us.
we both know what it's from. So
Anyways, big fish. Another
big
another
fish.
another big fish today.
Real big fish. Yeah. So this is one of the big three on Dookie, I think. Um Longview Basket Case When I Come Around.
Mhm.
Um and yeah, this is I don't know. I feel like this song kind of Are You Being Blinded by the Sun?
Yeah, it felt like it really
I mean,
whatever, go on.
nobody. I don't care, but if it's you can get up and fix it if you want or something.
If it's bothering me, I'll take care. I didn't mean to
All right,
interrupt you, man. Keep
no,
going.
no, it's okay. Um, this song, I think, more so than Basket Case and Longview, I think it kind of is when I think Green Day showed like a kind of maturity in their
Mhm.
songwriting. Kind of it's like, well, they're not just the masturbation uh punks. They're not just the Basket Case silly wordplay guys. Because yeah, this is a song that not that Longview and Basket Case don't have depth, because they do. I think there's layers to both of those songs. um but this is like kind of more, and this is not like adult contemporary,
Mhm.
but it like has more to offer for those audiences, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. We'll get to that. And I think even just I don't know, it's interesting because like as I'm listening to this song, like song writing wise, style wise, structure wise, um I kind of feel like this is the poppiest song that they've made, like up to this point in their discography. That was one of the things I was thinking about as a single. Um, so it's kind of funny because I feel like it contains a little bit of both of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think there's a bit more to chew on that we're going to be discussing, but it comes in just like this really catchy, sweet package. It's kind of like unassuming that way because it feels just like a nice, sugary earworm kind of hit, but there's a bit more going on under the hood than that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, so we can just kind of start off from where we usually start off, Connor. And again, this is another one of the big singles. So we're talking about 20 years ago.
Hmm.
20 years ago, you and I, Connor, were hanging out watching Fuse TV, watching music videos. Um, we have already been exposed to American Idiot.
Mm.
We probably already have the record at this point, maybe 20 years 20 years ago at this point, 2005 February.
Yeah.
And we've seen other popular Green Day music videos. So we've definitely seen When I Come Around to this point.
Hmm.
Don't have Dookie yet. Um, so bring me back to that kid, Connor, when you were first exposed to this. We see this, and again, we will talk about the music video. We see this iconic music video. It's Green Day. We're already Green Day fans. Um, just kind of soaking it all in. What does that guy think of When I Come Around?
Well, with a song like this, we've talked about this once or twice before on Dookie, probably when we were chatting about like Longview and Basket Case, because yes, obviously these are the big singles. But the thing with When I Come Around is I know for sure that I had heard and enjoyed this song prior to being a Green Day fan, prior to knowing that Green Day made it and was a band. And, like When I Come Around was a song that I would have just heard in like radio rotation, um, or like from my brother downloading, like big hits or whatever. Um, and and so it's kind of funny because I think at the time when I was younger, I would have lumped this song in with other other bands that wouldn't have been like exact contemporaries, but at the time that I was listening to it in the early 2000s, like you're saying, I would have been like, oh well, this kind of makes me think of like listening to Third Eye Blind or I don't know what other bands, like I don't know, Matchbox 20, or like where I would have just like fit those things together. And so by the time I am into Green Day after we listen to American Idiot, this is one of the songs that I kind of came back to and was like, oh, Green Day did this. Green Day, the band that I love now because of American Idiot, that song that I've liked just kind of casually every time I come across it. Green Day is the band that did When I Come Around. That's sick because that's a great song. So I think I always really liked the catchiness of this song. Um, but it was a little bit of like in one ear and out the other. That I didn't really care about lyrics. I didn't really bother to learn them. I was a very casual music listener, so it was kind of fun to realize. It felt like this weird coincidence that Green Day came out with this song. Yeah,
Yeah, I do kind of feel like, because I know in those days, like you were saying, your older brother uh did have a pretty sizable uh LimeWire
library. Yeah, yes,
collection or
yeah.
whatever. I was gonna say Napster. I was like, I don't know why.
I don't know. It could have been a bit of both. I don't really remember, but I remember like he had everything downloaded, and we would listen to it through. I think it was just like the Windows Media Player,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah.
sometimes he would have like anime music videos that would be
Well,
associated with it, or
yeah, that's a big one. I know we do have stories about that kind of thing for sure. That we loved. I don't know if there were any Green Day anime music videos we watched.
I don't, not that I remember,
Just
no, but
imagine an anime music video with When I Come Around as the
I can
soundtrack.
I can imagine it. I
It,
can because I remember
it's
ones from like
possible.
Brendan had one from like the Offspring. There were
Yeah,
ones, shit like that.
yeah.
So
I mean, I remember going through all, through his library with you, and yeah, Matchbox 20 and Eve 6 and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a good pull.
And I do feel like When I Come Around specifically is one of the songs in that library. Like
Yeah.
I do feel like I remember that.
Mhm.
And then as we go on and talk more about Green Day's 90s discography, there are other songs that I'll point out that may be odd ones, that like we've had first interactions with that are just like weird, like before we were actually Green Day fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think that's right, and yeah, I think this is one that I was exposed to as well. Probably not to the extent that I knew Basket Case or Good Riddance, but but I definitely heard this song prior. And yeah, I think it was I always kind of liked, maybe I couldn't illustrate this point very well back in those days, but like I do feel like this is the song too that made me think like, oh, Green Day is kind of multifaceted.
Yeah.
I like that they have kind of like a nice, not like mellow song, but like there's like a melancholy and kind of a calmness to this one that's not present on Basket Case or Longview.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it did kind of show a different side of them, and that was cool. Obviously as we get into Green Day's discography in its entirety, it's like there's so many sides of the band, obviously. So this was like a little sneak peek into the kind of songwriter that Billy Joe is and would become. And I think you're right, Connor, about the poppiness of this song. And it's like it's weird because it's like this is the only single from this record that could sit beside a Matchbox 20 song, or
Yeah.
like there is kind of that adult contemporary thing, or like rock, or like alternative rock,
Yeah, it
more
would have been like alt
all rock, yeah.
90s rock radio, like
Exactly, which like more so than Longview and Basket Case are kind of like 90s punk or pop punk, and this
yes.
is a different this is a different beast.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like I think some people like to fit Green Day into a little box, and they kind of wrap them up with like Blink or Sum 41, or yeah, like The Offspring
Mhm.
in the 90s, and like I think they have commonality with all those bands, but then at the same time in the 2000s they have commonality with the emo bands too, and so they don't really fit in with one group. They can be an adult contemporary or 90s alt rock group. They can also be like on a compilation of best emo songs of the 2000s,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
they kind of can play many roles.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of the start of that, I think, for people that weren't aware of them before their major label success.
Mhm.
I wonder what the conversation like was like back in the day. Like I wonder, I mean, I'm sure it's wasn't too groundbreaking, but it's cool that they had three just massive singles, one after the other,
Mhm.
uh yeah, I mean, showing like a level of depth and competency in songwriting that, like, I don't know, like a band like Nirvana uh had too. But like I I can't really think of a lot of other bands that have that kind of like variance without it kind of feeling contrived, or faulty or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and, obviously, like, more and more Green Day experiments and tries new things, like, it'll be really interesting getting to an album like Nimrod because that's, what kind of like their next great expansion into what Green Day means and what it can
Yeah.
be. But yeah, there definitely is some of that here on Dookie, and uh, yeah, it's kind of funny for us to be talking about it, and in retrospect, it I think it does feel like a positive thing, but of course, we also both know some of that conversation back then was the sellout conversation, and I think that songs like this were like right in the crosshairs of that certain kind of punk rock fan where it was
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, Green Day was good, but now look at what they're coming out with, those
I know,
fucking
it's
sellouts.
it's so crazy to kind of point to when I come around as like, oh, this is their radio hit.
Yeah, this
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 is the
this is the
radio
jump
rock
the
song.
shark moment for
Yeah.
Green Day, like,
And like there certainly were people from the Bay Area punk scene, or just punk scenes around the country, that are just like, yeah, this is it. That's it. They're done.
mhm,
They're done. But you know what, motherfuckers? It was just the beginning.
mhm,
Anyways, Connor, the years have progressed. We have been, familiar with this song for most of our lives at this point, and it's steeped into our DNA. We we can't get away from it. So what do you think, as a man of a certain age?
mhm.
Actually, your birthday is coming up in just a little bit.
That's right. The
You're
day after Billy Joe's.
Yes, the day after Billy Joe's birthday, which is pretty darn cool.
Mhm.
You'll be turning. I mean, I think he's turning 53. So you're gonna what? You're like gonna be turning 49, I believe.
Yeah, yep, just
49.
just a few years behind the old
Yeah,
bugger.
yeah. So how do we feel today about When I Come Around?
I love it. This is one of those songs I don't have, like, any reservations about it, and I think even, when we talked about, a song like Longview or something where I was like, "Oh, yeah," like, I it's a great song, but I've mentioned, some songs it feels like they kinda carry the weight of like single energy where it's like so omnipresent and maybe feels overplayed, where sometimes it's like I can't it's hard to reconcile. It's like I can't like slot it into the discography. Like, of course it's there. I wouldn't say like slot it in, but it's different than many other songs. And the singles on Dookie, just like the singles on something like American Idiot, it's like they're so big that it kind of feels like they're in this class all their own. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I just don't. I for some reason I think like I have no like reservations about When I Come Around. I think it's my favorite single off of Dookie, and I really like that it it does kind of like differentiate itself by having that sort of um, poppiness, but yeah, that tinge of melancholy, like you said, it has like this really excellent flow and just like this undercurrent of something just a little grimier. And man, that's just a great combo, and it just feels like so uh yeah, it just feels so representative of the decade. Like, as you're
Yeah.
saying, like this just is like a 90s radio hit. And I love it for that more now in some ways than I did then, because it feels like a little time capsule to me.
Absolutely, it is. It's a time capsule. It's yeah. I mean, last week we talked about what we would send into space, what Green Day song we'd send into space to be like a representation of humanity. And I think this is a contender for like if we were to bury a time capsule to be opened for or by humans or whoever inhabits the earth in 1,000 years or something. I think this should be one of the artifacts from the 90s that we uh, provide for that project.
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be this 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies,
Yes.
and that Third Eye Blind song that goes do 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 do.
Yeah. Oh, is that a semi-charmed life?
Semi-charmed
Yeah.
life. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
We don't need Smells Like Teen Spirit.
No.
We don't need the Full House theme song.
I might throw that one in there.
Okay. I was just listening to 21st Century Breakdown, and 21 Guns came
Yeah.
on, and
The Full House
the
theme
Full House theme
solo.
song is in there,
Yeah.
folks. I was just thinking about that yesterday.
Yeah, that's
Um,
really funny.
yeah. Anyways, yeah, no, this is, and then we'll talk about the music video a little bit further down the line, but Connor, the video was literally just things happening in the 90s.
Hmm.
Like it's just like one night in the 90s.
Yes.
Like the concept of the video.
Yeah.
Um which is hilarious, and it's so fucking good.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. This is a song to me that yeah, it's so massive and so big that it's like how could I say what I'm going to be saying, but I feel like it's even like underrated in a way.
Hmm.
Like the level of songwriting prowess and just like I don't know, construction of a mood and um doing all of that, with simplicity. Like I think it's a really masterful song, and I think saying like, oh, it's just a good 90s alt rock radio tune. I think that's almost doing it a bit of a disservice. It's just a really, really well crafted song.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think I love it now more than I did back then. It's one of those songs where, if you hear it at a concert or on the radio, at the grocery store, at a
Hmm.
restaurant, it's always a welcome moment.
Yeah.
Always happy to hear it. Yeah. Just one of those songs that it's just kind of like has all the right ingredients. Okay, yeah. So Connor, this song starts off with it's funny and sad that we keep on using the word iconic, but
Hmm. Hmm.
starts off with this iconic riff.
There's just too much iconic stuff happening on Dookie. Like
There
that.
is,
What other word to use?
I
You know.
know. And rest easy, folks. Once we move past the iconic albums, we'll be using words like forgettable and like
Yeah.
just
Disappointing.
disappointing,
Overrated. Yeah.
overrated. Yes.
You know, I just cannot wait to talk about Insomniac. Gonna rip that album a new one. I cannot wait.
Could you imagine if we just really hated
Yeah, what
Insomnia?
would be up with that? I don't know.
That would be a very strange heel turn.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, this riff, Connor, it's fucking iconic. It's so good. It's just like it's so nice and crunchy power chord riff. Just really does it for me. And this is the backbone of the song is
Mhm.
this riff. Connor, what are your thoughts on this riff and the guitar work on this track in general?
It is really, really good, and I do think that, like, Dookie is an album that, like, is full of iconic guitar riffs. It's like you could think about Basket Case, you could think about, Welcome to Paradise, you know, even something like Burnout, you know, it's like, uh, but I do think that When I Come Around, um, is still kinda head and shoulders above them in terms of iconic Green Day guitar riffs, because it's like it has that kind of hummable quality, you know, like if you go bum 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 da dun 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 da dun dun, like people are gonna
Yeah.
know, you
Mhm.
know, and you know, even though like we've talked about again like other iconic Green Day guitar riffs, it's like I could try to do that, and other Green Day fans would get it, you know, if I'm trying to do like Welcome to Paradise or something, but not the everyday average, you know, rock listener necessarily, um and so there is something about it. It's it and when I was talking about like the poppiness of it too, um you know, the song is obviously built around that guitar riff, and it pretty much repeats throughout the whole song. The verses are pretty long, and that's the majority of the song is that, you know. And you know, in that sense, it feels like Billy's using his guitar a little differently, where it's not about having that like driving pop punk kind of momentum, and it is a little bit more of having like a, a mid tempo you know, pop song. I feel like it's
Yeah.
like it didn't even have to be like it almost feels like Billy's guitar is a stand-in for, you know, something that could have just been carrying the same melody. You know, it's like
Mhm.
why not something electronic, or like why not some synths, or you know what I mean? Like
No,
I feel
definitely.
like Billy's playing, you know, is it just feels like it is in that like kind of a classic pop song structure, like way different than when we describe something as pop rock or pop punk. Like this just feels like the structure and the melody of a pop song, and Billy inserts his guitar into it. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the tempo is a big part. I mean, this is their first single that's kind of mid tempo. And I had the same thought about the guitar before we started talking. Like, I mean, really, what the thought that I had was this boomer idea of like why can't we have a song like When I Come Around with a
Hmm.
crunchy guitar that like that's just the driving force of the song. Like, why can't we have that anymore?
Yeah, you're
Because
right.
you know, you're right. It's all these dang synthesizers or bass, synthetic bass guitars or whatever. Not even real bass guitars. You
Yeah.
know. But you don't. I mean, I'm fucking sorry for being 85 years old, but you don't get his single that has a fucking crunchy electric guitar that plays a sick riff and that's the song. That's
Mhm.
not a fucking genre of single that is on the radio. I know radio isn't even a fucking thing anymore. So what am I talking
Yeah.
about, right? I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I'm a fucking idiot.
But that used to be the way of the world, yeah.
Be the way of the world. I mean, now I guess it's like, okay, well, I wish this was like on the top of the Spotify charts or something. Like, why can't we have a song like this on the top of the Spotify charts?
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's just like it makes me mourn for what uh for what pop music or popular music was. It's really sad, and I think we should destroy the internet.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
really, and I know this is like, all right, this is gonna seem like off topic, and
No, I love it, let's go.
but like lately, I have really been feeling like this is just is it's not good. It's not good for anybody. And it's not even useful anymore. We just need to get rid of it. We're just
Mhm.
done. We're done with it. I think we're just done with it. Like,
Yeah.
let the robots just have it. It's over. And like watching this video, the music video really makes me feel like that's the right thing to do. We're done with it. I'm
Mm.
done with it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be like Billy Joe, who deactivates his Instagram and says I'm taking a break, and then a week, less than a week later, I'm back, and here I am. I'm posting, and it's whatever. But things were better. Things were better when we didn't have to deal with this.
Yeah. No, I get that, man. And talking about the music video, that one night in the 90s, it's
Yeah,
hard not to watch that music video and feel nostalgic for that time gone by because there's, you know, there is like this kind of authenticity to it that that of course even then was manufactured to feel that way, like
sure.
that's the commercialism of it. But um there is sort of like this double-edged sword. Like it's funny because uh the music video encapsulates the moment so much that it almost feels like it is a nostalgic send up itself. You know what I mean? Like if someone were going to try to make like a 90s music video
Yes,
now, you pretty much would make When I Come Around, and
yes,
yet When I Come
exactly.
Around like is like just like perfectly
Yeah,
exactly that.
that's what I was gonna say. Is that there's okay? So there are bands these days that even I like, and they have cool, hardworking, independent teams. They make music videos that try to be When I Come Around.
Mhm.
Like there's like probably a dozen in the last 5 years that I've seen that are just like people walking around wearing clothes like it's the 90s.
Mhm.
And it's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to do that because I mean, and it just it's also like, okay, yeah, this is they're posting this on YouTube. It's going to get like a thousand views, whereas When I Come Around was played on MTV for a few times a week at least for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, um, those days are over. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Who
sorry. I'm
realized
sorry.
that this was, it's like When I Come Around is the rallying cry.
Yeah,
It's the last dying gasp of a time gone by.
I know. Yeah, and I mean, so these last few weeks have just put it all into stark relief for me. Like I've always been like one of those guys who's like, yeah, I know the internet is kind of like on fire. It's a sinking ship, but I'm just gonna kind of go down with it because it's
Yeah.
like I might as well just stick around and see how it goes and how crazy it gets. But these last few weeks have like made me feel like I can't do that. Um, uh, anyways, yes. So
No,
that's the source of my frustration.
I get that, dude. I do.
Anyways, so the guitar is awesome.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the
The
guitar. Oh
guitar is
shit.
awesome.
We were talking about the
We were
guitar.
talking about the guitar. I'm sorry, that's my fault for derailing this
No, no, it's
conversation.
fine. We got to talk about
Uh,
the solo.
I
There's a
was gonna,
solo in this
yes, I
song.
was gonna say that this is one of the rare moments on Dookie where there is a guitar solo. I mean, one of the rare moments in all of Green Day's '90s output, where there is a guitar solo. It's like it's simple and sweet and perfect. That's all I have to say. It's just really fucking it's chef's kiss. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah, it is a great solo. I like how short it is. I like how it's just like this quick in and out moments, you know. And yeah, the solo itself is pretty simple, but uh it's just exactly what it needs to be, and just like fits so effortlessly into that. And I love Billy's the whoo leading into it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a classic Billyism, and it makes me think too. I mean, Connor, you and I have been collaborators for a long time
Mm,
in song in music and in other things, but we have a song um called Fantastic Lives that there's a little solo bit that you play that I feel like I probably just told you to like play it like kind of like When I Come Around,
yeah, yeah,
and like that's pretty much what it is. Um, yeah, which is, I know it's low hanging fruit, but I thought that's worth mentioning.
yeah.
Um,
It's a good one. You're right.
yeah, and so back to the that iconic riff in the intro. Um, this is another, although this is mid tempo and it's kind of a different speed and different vibe for Green Day, they do have that classic intro where it's the guitar playing a riff, then the drums and bass come in, and I think it's worth talking about the bass next because when the drums and bass come in, you get this like really signature Mike Dirntz lick
Hmm.
to kind of throw us into the song. Yeah, I mean, somebody, I saw somebody say on YouTube in the comments that this is like one of their favorite bass lines ever.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because like there's so many iconic bass lines on Dookie and in other '90s Green Day songs that like When I Come Around really it has these flourishes that just like really pop, and
Hmm.
like to say that's your favorite thing is I mean it's so good, like I don't blame them. Mike, yeah, what are your thoughts on Mike's performance here?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in line with that. I do love how it kicks off in the intro, you know, and then yeah, the other place of where it really obviously stands out is that moment in the chorus. You know, you get that brief pause because you know where I'll be found, and then just cuts out, and before you get it, the when I come around, as everything kicks back in, Mike's the one who precedes that with that really thick note that he's playing there. It just sounds great. It feels like he's kind of stitching everything together, and yeah, just making it work. I do like those flourishes, and I do like the way that he pops in and out in those like really brief pockets before Billy and Trey kind of fill back in. Um but I was gonna say that I feel like in the verses, in the chorus, except for those moments where he gets to play a little more isolated and jump out, sometimes I feel like he gets buried a little bit because the guitar is just very it's just a bit more in your face here. And so I know that Mike is playing that awesome bass line that you can hear him start in the intro. It's like I know it's happening, but I feel like it gets a little lost in the mix. For me, that's all I'm saying. So I love what Mike's playing. I want to say I wish it was a little more clear, but I wouldn't change anything about the song. I think that Mike's just doing what he does, and it sounds great when he jumps out. But the guitar is really dominating this track.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think I mean, obviously the guitar we said it's crunchy and also it's like very chunky too. It's crunchy and chunky at
Yes,
the same time.
like great peanut butter.
Like great peanut butter. Did you see that tweet that about peanut butter
Mm.
that was going around? It was like from a right wing guy, and he was saying he was saying, yeah, my wife's favorite peanut butter is smooth, mine is chunky. We've been married for 16 years, and I haven't had chunky peanut butter in 16 years. And
That's
then
really funny.
everyone's just like saying like you can't just buy two different kinds of peanut
Yeah,
butter.
just buy the chunky peanut
Like
butter.
you just don't go shopping. Like it's like you like so that's what that reminds me of.
Right. Yeah.
But when I come around here, it proves you can do both. You can do crunch. I mean, you can have that smooth bass line and the
Hmm.
crunchy guitar. But yeah, no, I I do agree that the bass does kind of get a little bit buried. But not. I mean, I don't know. I don't think this song really needs Mike to be up front for the entire time. I think just his little flourishes and his little moments to shine really they like go a long way. You know, I mean,
Yes, for sure.
I think there are some cases in Green Day songs, you know, where it's like, oh man, I really wish I could hear more of Mike's bass line. And I mean, while for this song, like, you know, it is true. And I always feel that way. You know, I always want to hear Mike. Um, you know, I do feel like maybe this is pitched correctly. You know, maybe we shouldn't try and you know, murder Rob Cavallo for this.
Hmm.
But no, I think you are right, and you know, I think he's putting work in for the entire time, for the entirety of the song, but we only kind of get to see the payoff of it in certain glimpses. But what we do get is like revelation.
Oh
So
yeah, no, I mean it still makes the song. Like
yeah,
you couldn't. Obviously, it would be entirely different if you didn't have those small moments of like absolute perfect bass clarity
yeah,
that Mike is showing up with. So
definitely, yeah. And I mean that brings us to last but not least, we have Mr. Trey Cool.
mhm.
And yeah, he kind of jumps into the song with Mike here, and you know, I don't want to call your perception or what you're gonna say about his performance here, so I'll just let you have the floor, Connor. What are your thoughts on Trey's outing here?
All right. I think this is a funny song because it feels like it's a game of two halves a little bit. This is like the first, and in the verses, Trey's playing. It almost feels like he's just keeping time. You know, it's like what he's playing in the verses is so simple, and you're basically just getting that, you know, steady cymbal again. Yeah, like kind of keeping time throughout it. But I really love how it's sort of just this very even keel kind of performance that I think allows Billy's vocals and that repeating guitar riff to really drive the momentum of the song. And then the chorus starts and Trey just like owns it completely. I love his playing on the chorus. And don't get me wrong, I like his playing on the verses too. When I say keeping time, I don't even mean that as a criticism. It's just trying to describe like this is some of the most simple, straightforward playing we've heard Trey do, period, on anywhere in the discography at this point. And then it gets to the chorus, and yeah, I love how big the drums feel, and I love how he has this humongous fill during that because you know where I'll be found moment, and then you get that very brief pause for, you know, when I come around, of course. And one thought I had, and this is a new one. This was something I was like thinking as I was listening to the song for this podcast. I was like, man, this is the beginning of like Trey's kind of larger than life theatrical playing that we're gonna see on American Idiot or Trey. Like, um, that like drum roll or fill or whatever that is, cause you know where I'll be found. You know,
Yeah.
like that like that makes me think of something like Drama Queen, like those
Oh yeah.
humongous drums that just own the song.
Yeah, you're so right about that. I never thought about it that way, but that's spot on. I mean, yeah, I think uh, I was gonna say like this really does go to show how versatile Trey can be. But more than that, I think it's kind of Trey proving to himself that they because these almost feel like 80s stadium rock drums, like a Phil Collins song or
Mhm.
something. But like Trey can do it and it sounds right and doesn't sound corny or contrived or anything. And he just, I mean, you're right. He kills the chorus, and the dynamics of the song are just they're so good. And yeah, this absolutely is like the step one in the evolution to getting to rock opera Trey, where
Yeah.
he's just doing, I mean, drum solos.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean that says it all. I was gonna say yeah, he has a pretty understated performance, and I think you're right. In the verses he does, he's holding it tight, holding it together. But yeah, he really kind of lets loose in the chorus, and for that, it's another example of all three band members just kind of like doing what they do best. And we kind of talked about Kerplunk, and is them kind of learning how to write songs together, and they're kind of figuring out like uh you know uh, when to lean back and when to kind of go ham, for individual parts. And yeah, Dookie in this song in particular is a good example of them just being like, well, sometimes we can actually all do what we do best at the same time together.
Mhm.
And this is a really good example of that.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that Trey rocks. What do we think about Mr. Billy Joe Armstrong's vocal performance here? He I mean, it's funny because I'll just say that his snottiness doesn't totally dissipate, but he does a thing where it's like it's still that same character, but he
Yeah.
is reflective and pensive,
Yeah.
and I think I think it's well done. What do you think about his vocals here?
I think this is like an all-timer. Um Yeah, I love it. I love his singing. I love the vocal melody. Um and yeah, I think that it's sort of like this really great combination of like snotty and sweet, because I think for the most part Billy's singing this um just because of everything we've talked about, the tempo of the song, the structure of the song, the poppiness of the song, like it calls for a different kind of singing. It just necessitates it, and I think Billy really steps up and delivers like a good mixture of like pop snot here. That's what it feels like to me, and it's just really really great. Um, I love how soaring the chorus sounds. I love when Billy, uh, it's because I've already done it a bunch of times, but like the way he delivers, "Cause you know where I'll be found," like that's like a sing along lyric. That's like you're playing this at karaoke, and it's like two guys got their fucking arms around each other, and like you're just delivering that line. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's a line that like brings people together. Like
and we're
everyone
those
knows
two
that
guys.
line, and we are those two
We are
guys.
those two guys.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then the verses I think are just really classic. And I just like I don't know, the melody's so great. La, da, 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 da.
Yeah.
La, da, 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 da.
Yeah, right? Yeah, you could I mean, this is a song where and I know this does exist, and one of these days we will review it. But there's like this could be like a lullaby, just on like a little toy piano or something, and it would still
Mhm,
be a great melody.
mhm.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. It's like just pitched so perfectly. And I mean, it's hard to talk about the vocal performance without talking about the lyrics. Uh, so Connor, what do you say? You want to help us out with the song?
Here we go. Just tell me the words I
Words I
might
might
have
have
known,
known,
the
the
words
words
I
I
might
might
have
have
known,
known,
the
the
words
words
I
I
might
might
have
have
known.
known. All right. When I Come Around, I know is a big song. We've been singing along to it for 20 years now.
Mhm.
Are there any parts of the lyrics here that you had misheard, you weren't sure of, or you're just learning today? What's the deal here?
Yep. Yeah. I knew this was one that, like, when we were, like, getting ready to talk about Dookie, when we were closing in on beginning the Dookie discussion, When I Come Around was one of the songs I was thinking about because 'cause I'm like, "Man, there's just always this line that, um, completely eludes me." And, I would when I was singing, I pretty much would just do, like, a combination of what I thought it sounded like and then some gibberish, and I'd be like, I'm just hoping for the moment, and that's a don't get like that's how I would sing this line that I did not know. I'm just roaming for the moment, sleaze in my backyard, so don't get.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the line that you were unsure of.
It is. It was.
That I feel like a lot. I feel like there's a big part of the audience that doesn't know what that lyric is,
Yeah.
and I remember, for me, I went a good amount of time without knowing what it was until at one point I was like so sick of that I needed to look it up. I remember looking up this line, and I mean, I think it's a really fun lyric, and it's a very fun part to sing along to. So
Hmm.
I'm happy that now you know and you can sing along the right way.
Yeah. Yep. I'm happy about that too. And then um and then the only other one, so when Billy says to try and slag me down because I know you're right. I don't know what the fuck slag is. I always thought he said try and flag me down because I feel like that's a thing that people
Oh,
say. Like,
yeah, flag me down. I mean, slag is, I think usually it's like the phrase is like slag me off. But like slag means like to trash somebody or to like just be critical of, or like yeah, to like
right,
um be unfavorable towards them
I see.
publicly, I think.
Whereas, like, if you flag someone down, it's like you're catching up with them or like keeping
Yeah, you're
track
like
of them.
yeah, you're trying to find them or saying,
Right,
"Oh, hey, I'm over
right.
here."
Which I always thought made
Yeah.
a lot of sense in a song like When I Come Around.
That does make sense. But I guess the concept of this is it's the here, I'll let me read to you the description on genius.com. Uh uh, Genius says, When I Come Around is about a boy who wants to be in a casual relationship, but has become involved with a girl who wants something more serious. His insecurities and poor self image are detailed throughout. What do you think about that, Connor?
Mm, that's that's not what I have historically thought this song was about.
I
Uh
feel like that's a reductive description.
my my uh interpretation of the song has essentially been that it's two people in a relationship and uh they're starting to realize that the relationship is falling apart, or that like they want something or someone else. And so like I've thought about this as like instead of like wanting a casual relationship, I thought it was more like, you know, like they're in a relationship, but like from the guy's perspective, from the singer's perspective, I always kind of took it as like, we're together, but like we're pretty much broken up at this point, so I'm just gonna sleep around, like a real douchebag behavior, for the record. But
When
I,
I
but
sleep around.
but that's what I kind of took it as, where it was like this person who's just like, well, we're it's on the outs, it's all done except in name, so who cares? Just wait around for me, I'll be back, but don't worry about it, kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't. I think you're on the right track there to where my mind is at in this. I don't think it's necessarily the boy or whoever wants a casual relationship. I think you're right. It's kind of it's a relationship that is it's kind of come to a point where it doesn't make sense anymore for whatever reason, and yeah, it's not really done, but they both kind of know it might as well be. And it's and I don't even know if it's necessarily sleeping around. I think it's really just kind of this weird feeling that's kind of like purgatory between being together and
Yeah,
broken up.
yeah, I think that's way more astute, like way more on the money right there for sure.
Yeah, and just kind of like living in that feeling, I guess. Yeah. So I mean, and I don't know. It's up to interpretation. You can take from it what you will. But I think I really have always loved these lyrics. I think the obviously the chorus is fantastic, but the verses are just like they're so good. Connor, do you have any lines that you'd like to point out and talk about?
Yeah. The verses are fantastic. The line that always gets me is from the second verse, you may find out that your self-doubt means nothing was ever there. I love
Yeah.
the delivery of it. I think the whole like rhyme scheme of it, find out, self-doubt in that same line. Um, and it feels like it's one of those lines that, whether you're like listening to the lyrics or not, like that like cuts through everything else. Like it's kind of impossible to not like have that line kind of hit you. I feel like it's made um to have the impact that it does. And yeah, it's just it's a great line. I think that it's something that can be true of a lot of things. Again, in this case, I think Billy is singing about a relationship,
Yeah.
but I love the sentiment of sort of of kind of listening to your feeling, like a gut feeling or like your intuition. Um, and I like that there's a little bit of room in there where it's not just a rule, because you can feel self-doubt and not have it be legitimizing too. So I think that you may find out is actually doing a lot of important heavy lifting, but like within the song, yeah, I really, really love it. I think that's a fantastic line.
Absolutely, that's one of the best, and I mean it proceeds. You can't go forcing something if it's just not right, which I think really says it all. That's a huge moment, and I mean just a realization that I think a lot of people come to certain points in their life. Yeah, so I mean, that's a really great moment. Um, the One of my favorite is from that same verse, from verse 2. Uh, I'm a loser and a user, so I don't need no accuser.
Mhm.
I just I've always loved how, I mean, it's just obviously it's self-deprecating, and it's just it's one of the funnest things to sing along to. And I mean, really, feels feels like, Billy saying, I know what I am, you don't have to tell me,
Mhm.
like I know what my faults are here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing you can say to me that I already don't tell
Yeah,
myself. Like,
exactly.
however much you think I suck, like, I know I'm worse than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I mean, that kind of goes to show, like, this is the character from Burnout and from Longview, and it's the same guy, just in a different environment.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And it's all like shades of Billy, and then it's
Yeah.
also like combined with yeah, like sort of exaggerations or characters, however you want to think about it, that I do think makes Billy's songwriting so interesting. It always feels like there's that mix of like um autobiographical writing, of course, but then also like a bit of a wink at the camera, that
Uh-huh.
there's something that's always like a little bit obscured, I guess, that gives it that distance. I don't know, like Billy's so
Yeah,
good at writing songs that feel personal, and yet I think tell a story in such a way that makes you question if it's strictly only about himself.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Any other lines you want to point out before we talk about the music video a little bit?
You know, I actually wanted to just mention the chorus because the chorus is so short. And of course, it's, no time to search the world around because you know where I'll be found when I come around. It's, it's, I feel like it's the one part of the song that it's hard for me to put my finger on. Like the verses, I feel like I get, and the verses are telling this story, and I really like the way that you put it. It's kind of like this in between of like a relationship, of being in a relationship, but kind of feeling like it's over. I think that's exactly what's happening in this song. However
Yeah.
it manifests, however you interpret, sleaze in my backyard. That can mean any number of things. So that's open for interpretation, but it definitely is touching on this idea of being caught in that moment. And so the chorus here, uh I don't know, to me it's just always kind of sounded like catchy nonsense. I don't know what the chorus, quote unquote, is saying. I don't completely get how it fits into the rest. I only know that it's exactly right and it sounds perfect and I love it. But it almost feels like it has this kind of lyrical nonsense in a way to it that I feel like gives it like this sense of like poetry, and yeah, it has that songwriting lyrical nature that just makes it sound good. Like sometimes song lyrics are great because they're a little mystifying, and I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying this is like impossible to interpret, but for me personally, but this is kind of the moment where I don't completely get what Billy's saying. That's all.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know, no time to search the world around, because it almost feels like when you realize you that either that there's no time to search the world for, the perfect partner, you'll realize that I'm still here, and
Mm,
that's uh or something like that. But
yeah.
but you're right, it is it's something, it sits outside of the narrative a little bit. um Anyways, this music video, Connor,
Oh
we
yes.
just watched the music video. We talked about it a little bit. and just how it's a night in the 90s, which really is what's happening. There's a little bit more to it though. It's I think this is the third video canonically that they did for Dookie, and I mean it's very simple. Just like the song, it's very simple. It has the band members walking around downtown, wearing their iconic 90s fashion choices. You got Billy's iconic sweater that
Yes.
really created a movement, the striped sweater movement of the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to talk about Billy's sweater.
Oh yeah, we have
Um,
to.
I I have I have wanted Billy's sweater in a total hipster asshole way since the moment I laid eyes on it, all the way back those 20 years ago.
I can attest to that. I remember very early on Connor telling me how much he needs that sweater.
Yeah, and I still don't have it. You know, I kind of love that it's like you know, no one ever cashed in on that. You
I
can't
know,
find that sweater.
I
You
know.
can't.
There should have been
You
a fact.
could. I know. You can find stuff that's similar. You could commission it. Actually, in my search for the sweater, I have seen like threads on Reddit where people will be like, "Look what I have," and it's Billy's sweater, and it'll be like, "Oh yeah, I paid this person to knit me a custom sweater." Like,
That's so fucking crazy.
and I've thought about that because I'm like, that's probably the only way I'd ever get it.
How much
Is
would that cost?
I don't know, but
Probably a lot.
I know that people have done it. You can
I
find that
believe
on
it. Yeah.
Reddit. Um, so yeah, but I don't know because there's something about not having it and wanting it that is almost just as fun. It's like the dog that's chasing the car. What do you do once you finally
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah, it might not. It's more fun just to kind of have it off on the horizon
Otherwise, what am I living
sometimes.
for? Um, the other thing I wanted to mention, Connor, you might remember however many episodes ago we were talking about juggalos.
Oh yeah,
And we were talking, juggalos have their own iconic outfits, and
true.
they will wear Jinko jeans or humongous shorts with straps on them. And I was like, I think Billy might have huge shorts on in the When I Come Around music video, these big gray shorts. He doesn't have big shorts. He has short pants.
Yeah, he does.
And I gotta set the record straight. He has short pants.
Short.
They're
Yeah,
they're
no,
not
you're
long
right.
shorts.
I mean, so this is I I've always loved his pants hair. I am a high water kind of guy. In high school, people would always be like, "Oh, was there a flood earlier? Is that why you're wearing high waters?" I That was just like the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a very dumb thing to say. But uh
Yeah, you're still
anyways,
holding on to that a little bit, huh?
I do hold a grudge.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something. I think it is like I think it stems from this actually, probably from this
Yeah.
video. That's why I like high water pants, high water jeans. Um, well, I had these pants in my early teens that were really like capris. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you remember them, but they were like gray and they were like capris. I used to call them my man prees.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know why I had to gender them. That was
It was the early 2000s.
it was the
It
early
was
2000s.
the mid 2000s. Early to
Yeah,
mid.
early enough. But I love those pants, and I feel like that's kind of what Billy has going on here.
Yeah.
Uh, very very that's also iconic. His sweater and his capris,
Yeah.
short pants, whatever you want to call them. And then yeah, Mike and Trey are looking. They're wearing cool shit too.
They are. Yeah, I love I think it's is it now I'm wondering who has the leather jacket on. I feel like it was Mike, but maybe
I
it was
think it's
Trey.
Mike. I
Yeah,
think it is
right?
Mike.
I think so too.
Um,
Uh Trey's hair is looking good in this video too.
yeah, he's got like what, like green spiky hair,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're
Um
doing all kinds of fun stuff, roaming around the city. pulling the payphone
The
off
payphone
the
off, yeah,
receiver. That's pretty cool.
that's one of those I don't know, like, moments that's, like, seared into my brain. Every time I see that, I still have, like, this Pavlovian connection where I'm just like, "Yeah, that's cool." Like, here I am in my adult life, I'm like, "Man, I don't know if anyone's been cooler than Billy Joe wearing that sweater and
Yeah,
nonchalantly pulling a payphone off the hook."
absolutely. It's cool as hell. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
It's still
Uh,
I just think it's the coolest anyone has ever been.
yeah, I agree, and I was gonna say, like, and every time I walk by a payphone, I want to pull it
Yeah,
off the receiver, but there's really no payphones around anymore, so I don't know if we can really say that.
yeah.
Um, and then the other part of the video is we kind of get to see the city, whatever city that they filmed this in. I don't know what city it is, but we can see the city through the eyes of voyeurs,
Mhm.
of kind of people looking into other people's windows or other people's lives, um, which is really an interesting concept for a video. We see a lot of interesting characters just living their lives. I don't know. I've always liked that.
Yeah, yeah, true. Um, and, here I am a little older, a little wiser. I have always and will always want Billy's sweater, but as I was watching this, the first, couple in the beginning of this music video, this guy has, like, this robe on, this really
Yeah,
gaudy, like, pastel colored robe. I'm like, "That's pretty cool. I would
you're
wear
the
that
guy in
fucking
the
robe."
robe now.
Yeah, I would that's right. It's, time comes at you fast, what can I
Yeah,
say?
yeah, it's
Um,
true.
but yeah, enough about just the fashion. The whole thing with, like, people, yeah, everyone's looking at someone else, and yes, like, it does take you through that one night in the 90s. You get to see so much, but it really feels like this commentary on people just being dissatisfied with what they have, and
Yeah, mhm.
wondering about the next thing, or like what another life could be. And I
Yeah,
think that
yeah,
that
it could have been.
right, and it's like that does, I think, tie thematically really well into When I Come Around, because when you're considering, like, the end of something, and being caught in that weird transition period where it's not quite over, but it feels like it's coming. um it's natural to kind of be looking around, because you feel like sooner or later you're going to be cut loose out into that weird one night in the 90s.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it just feels like a lot of it focuses on this weird collection of characters who are all focused on someone else, because I think that for one reason or another, they just aren't satisfied with what they have.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think it's a yeah, it's a deep satisfaction in a lot of these people's situations. Yeah, and I mean it's always kind of uh exciting to look into somebody else's life or somebody else's world for a little bit. And I mean it's it's like normal but also a little bit creepy
Mm,
depending on who's doing the looking.
it is.
So that's all there. And there is one notable voyeur. I think it's the old man that is looking at a couple making out.
Yeah.
Um, Connor, do you know who that is making out uh with a girl?
Oh, wait, so it's not the voyeur, it's the couple making out.
The
That's the
couple.
notable.
It's the couple, yeah. Well, it's one half of the couple.
Yeah. No. No, I don't know who that is.
I thought maybe you would, so I'm surprised. Connor, the man making out with the woman in that part of the video is none other than Green Day's touring guitarist Jason White.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Is that White?
that's White. That's White,
That's
all right.
yeah, okay.
That's what he looks like as a young man.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. I did not know that You know what I did think when I was watching that moment is, it feels kinda reminiscent of Christian and Gloria, like,
Oh yeah,
being
yeah, the
on
car,
the hood of that car and yeah, like that.
definitely.
Not that those things are directly connected, but it feels like imagery that Green Day's like, "Yeah, we're gonna return to that."
So you're saying Jason White is Christian?
I think I sort of am. I
Yeah,
think
he
that
must be
he's
the inspiration.
kinda like the yeah, the inspiration, exactly.
Who knew he was so fiery?
Yeah. Hmm.
I can't imagine him, like a catastrophic baby. I've never thought of him like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Anyways, yeah. Any other parts of the video you wanted to pinpoint and talk about? It's. I mean, really, the big thing is like this music video is like all vibes.
Yeah,
Like
pretty
it's
much.
really just the atmosphere that makes it so special.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing I just feel like I would have to mention is, yeah, there kind of is like a bit of a screwball cast of characters in this, but the one scene where it's like the kid, but they have on like the old Victorian powdered wig,
Yeah. Uh huh.
and they go over to like their little telescope and like that that always stuck out at me as I just think, we talked about this music video as being very 90s, and I think it also was very 90s to just have things that were a little weird just for the sake of,
Yeah.
like, oh, isn't that kind of weird? Like
Uh huh.
literally, like just kind of quirky for the sake of it, because it was like, yeah. And then we're just gonna have this character who looks like this little, Victorian child. It's like out of time. Like, why?
Uh huh. I
Why are
know.
they there?
Well, you're right, and it's I mean, but I feel like the same decision could have been made in a 2000s music video, but it would have felt contrived or
Yeah.
corny because in the 90s they just did things like that and kind of just like let it hang and not like explain like or make a big deal of it. You're just like, oh,
Hmm.
that's interesting, huh? Um, in 2000s videos it's like it'd have to be like more of a show of itself and be like, oh, this is so quirky, look at this wacky character. So yeah, there is a bit more subtlety, but you're right about that. I've always thought like it's a kid whose like obsession is dressing like
Yeah,
that,
right,
and so the mother just kind of placates her and lets
right.
her dress up as an old Victorian woman or
Yeah,
something.
it's just really funny, and you're right, you're right. I love that the music video doesn't linger on it.
Yeah,
It's just on to the next thing. Yeah, I really love this weird collection of oddballs in the music video. Good stuff.
hell
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Connor, you want to head on into segments?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we kinda already are there, but let's get on to the next one.
Let's head into the next segment. All right, you're gonna help me with this song. So it
That's
goes
great.
goes a little bit something like this: a one, two, a one, two, three. Warning, alive without
Have we
warning.
heard this song? Have we heard this song?
All right, so this is on Dookie, obviously. If you're a faithful listener, and I hope you are, that Connor and I have we've seen Dookie in its entirety now 2 times over this last summer on the Saviors tour. So of course we've heard this song at least twice. Connor's repping his shirt from the tour right now,
Hell yeah.
which is very cool. It's a really cool shirt.
Nice.
And so let's go before that in any of our 22 or 12 respective Green Day shows in the past before the Saviors tour. Connor, have we heard this song live?
Yes, it is safe to say that we have, Connor.
And you're confident?
100% confident. The real question is, did we hear it at our first show?
Yeah,
That's what I'm not sure about.
that's
Uh,
what I'm looking up. Yeah, so the answer, it really is yes. Of course, we've heard When I Come Around live. Probably at most of the shows. I think it's probably at the majority of the shows that we
yeah.
have attended.
I think it's safe to
Um,
say I've heard it played live like 10 times easily.
yeah, I think that's probably true. Let's see. Let's put this to the test. Green Day at the Hartford Civic Center in 2005. Didn't
I'm gonna guess they did.
Okay, you're gonna say they did. Okay, let's see. Um, Connor, surprisingly, they did not.
They did not.
They
Oh,
did
I was
not.
wrong.
That's
I
crazy
was
because,
wrong.
well, if he had asked me, I would have said, oh yeah, definitely. But no, they played Longview, Basket Case, but did not play When I Come Around.
Hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Had to make room for King for a Day, of course,
Yeah. Yep. Can't fault him for that.
and Knowledge, making a band on stage.
Yep.
All right, Connor, let's get into some of the let's hear from the Peanut Gallery.
Yeah.
Let's hear what the seedy underbelly of the internet has to say. Connor, let's hear it from the anti-social media.
We are.
All right, so
Oh, by the way, I got some comments here too
oh
from
yeah, okay,
from
awesome,
YouTube. So
awesome. Do you want to just take turns, or
sure.
I'm not sure how many you have.
If you were looking through YouTube, you probably got some of the same ones.
All right, we
But
probably got some repeats.
yeah, but let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to start off with the first one here. This is from YouTube. It's from Alan Burton 8115 from 4 years ago. They say, "I've heard it all before, selling donuts at my door."
You know, without context, it's like, are they saying this is a misheard lyric, or are they having a bit of fun because they're a door-to-door donut salesman?
Oh, that's a great question. They could be a door-to-door donut salesman, as
Yeah.
I mean, that is a job that does exist. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think I'll go with that. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
just makes more sense.
Triple DS. A D to D DS.
A D to D D S. It rolls off the tongue. Connor, what do you got?
All right. So from YouTube, this is from Sign Life 192, 1 year ago. If you're listening, Sign Life, I hope you're doing all right. Here's the comment. The 90s feels so different. Not just a nostalgic thing, but like we crossed a threshold into another world that we can never come back from. Everything feels so different.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what we were talking about earlier in the episode.
Right. And the thing is like I like this comment, and there's plenty of other people who are talking about this. I think that something about this song and this music video just truly radiates that time in which it was made in a way, like, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
It just can't be separated. Like, some songs feel timeless, and it's like, oh man, but When I Come Around is not timeless. It's exactly within its own time, and
Uh-huh.
it can't be separated.
Yeah, and I mean, not in a bad way either. It doesn't. I mean, I think it will always resonate, but it paints a picture. It paints a
Yeah.
picture, a very detailed picture of when it existed, when it was created.
Yes.
You're right, and there's something about the song too that just kind of inspires this, sentimentality. This is by far the Green Day song that has had the like the most sentimental comments that I've seen.
Yeah.
I feel like people have stories and parts of their lives that are linked to the song
Hmm.
in a way that I have not seen on previous songs. So, and this is kind of the next one that I'll say kind of speaks to that. This is from Derpy Dragonfall from 2 years ago.
Cool.
Derpy says, "This song reminds me of my high school girlfriend, little punk stoner who would always get in trouble but was smart as hell and very talented with watercolors. We would go to abandoned buildings and would always be blasting Green Day on her little speaker. I eventually left for the army and she went back to PA. When I heard this song, she comes and visits me in my memories. I hope one day our paths cross again." So very sentimental.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's funny because it feels a little in line with like when we were discussing 39 Smooth and Kerplunk. We got a lot of like old punk stories too, like comments from
Yes.
people who were
Yeah.
really living like the the true blue, authentic punk lifestyle from the late '80s and early '90s. And this is funny because like this is like within that too, talking
Uh-huh.
about
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
going to abandoned buildings, and yet it does have this sentimentality to it. It does have this like love story angle. This song, man. Yeah. Hmm.
Something about it just brings this out of us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to add on to a comment like that, but you know, thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
It's nice
absolutely.
just to hear.
Yeah.
This is probably a little similar too. This one's from Satan Dynasty Killer 6 years ago.
Hell yeah, Satan.
Yeah. They say when this vid dropped, I was Billy's age. Billy. I just we're legally obligated to shout that out.
Fucking poser.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We have to. When this vid dropped, I was Billy's age. Now I look like the guy at the start/end with receding hairline and housecoat on, wondering where my youth went at 43. Enjoy life, kids. It will be over in a blink. Hope everyone is having a great weekend.
Wow. Literally you.
Yes. Yeah.
Was that you who wrote the
Yeah,
comment?
no,
That's really funny.
this was me, and I'm just trying to get
Yeah.
comment of the day right now.
Yeah.
You got me. I wanted the prize. The prize is so good that I
Yeah.
wanted to
Well, that begs the
sneak
question,
in there.
Connor. That begs we've never discussed the rules here. So, are we eligible? Are you and I eligible to win comment of the day?
I don't think it's fair. I don't think we should be in the
It's
running.
not okay. I think our comment would have to be exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, if it was a great comment,
If it was like a truly perfect comment, no
yeah,
notes, I think maybe
right,
we could win the award. But
right. If we had the best comment of the day, then yeah, of course. But
yeah, but otherwise,
but it'd have to be really
it'd
good.
have to
It'd
be
have to be
really
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 good.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one though. I mean, there's something about that guy. He's I don't know. He's like one of the most unsatisfied people in the whole video, I think.
Yeah,
Too.
no, it's funny because like he's I don't know that character I feel like just really straddles the line between like looking like handsome and a slime ball. You know, like they're a little
Yeah.
skeevy and
Hmm.
I don't know.
Those guys were everywhere in the '90s too.
Oh yeah,
You know.
absolutely. And I do think this song it does kind of make you think about you see so many different people at different ages and like Billy himself is like so youthful. You know, it's like
Yeah.
he's on top of the worlds, you know, in this
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
video.
It's true.
Uh, it does make you think about the ways things change.
Yeah. Very true. Next up we have Yoon Sung Yun 3732 from 10 months ago. Yoon says, I may or may not go on a massive fasting diet before the election. I can always eat again after the election. We will see.
Man, I hope they have started eating because it's
Yeah,
February 9th.
I know. I mean, hopefully they made it to the election because fasting, this was 10 months ago. So it was like what, April or something of last year. They were going to
Yeah,
fast until the election. I mean,
right.
I hope they're okay.
That's true. I mean, I don't know. I feel like fasting kind of like a lot of times with fasting, I feel like that implies that you're not eating food, but you can still drink liquids.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So maybe they just had an all liquid diet.
Yeah, I don't know if like if that would count as fasting truly, but it's possible that that's something that they did.
Like if you blend up a chicken and drink it, is that fasting?
I think most times it's only water and coffee that's like technically you're still fasting.
Hmm,
Like I don't think you can drink smoothies or protein
right.
shakes
No, you're
or
right. You're right. You're right.
but
You're
I
right.
don't know. I've only looked into this a little bit.
Do you think you could survive 10 months on coffee?
I mean, me personally, yes. The average person, no. But that's just
Yeah.
me. What do we got up next, Connor?
This is from Rubber Ducky Rocks 1 9 years
Great,
ago.
great name.
Yeah. I just like how simple and raw this song is. I always come back to this.
Simple and raw. I mean, yeah. I think that's that's true. That's definitely how I feel.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's raw in a way that's like hard to put your finger on, but it does like it opens up a wound, I think, in almost everyone, or just slightly rubs over a wound and just like
Hmm.
reminds you that it's there.
Yeah, totally.
That's a good one. Let's see. Bobo Coco 89 says
I don't know why that got a laugh out of me. That's
Bobo Coco says grunge Green Day rocks.
yeah. So this is grunge Green Day.
Yeah, I mean, would you consider it grunge Green Day?
I don't really consider anything to be grunge Green Day.
Yeah, I don't think I, I don't know what a grunge Green Day song would be. It's
Maybe
hard
they
to
just mean the
imagine.
aesthetic. Like it might have nothing
Yeah.
to do with the song. Maybe it's just like they look grunge.
Well, yeah, I think that might be it. I think I do think that this like fashion that this fashion statement that they're kind of um you know unintentionally making here it does kind of feel like an evolution from the grunge style of the flannels and whatever. I think there is kind of some evolution there, but
Yeah,
um I wouldn't call them or their style grunge, but I get where they're coming from.
yeah. How long ago was this comment made? Because if it's a new one, then I
This
feel like I
was
get it.
this was made 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's new enough. Because I think grunge now, I mean, like things are always changing, but I think the way that a lot of young people use grunge, um, it's not as specific. I think grunge is kind of like is more broad rather than like the specific like 90s kind of era that like you or I would typically think of.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, okay. Here's this next one. From Jonathan Dunn 2709, 3 months ago. This one's new.
Oh, recent.
They said, I love how they're just walking around like it's a normal everyday thing for them. Just being themselves. Love it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
This kid doesn't know what it's like to walk around.
If this profile picture is them, I think they're a little older
Okay.
than just a kid.
So maybe they realize that like they miss walking around too
Maybe.
and
Maybe.
just being themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, because I do feel like I don't think kids these days just walk around with their friends. I don't think that happens a lot of the
Connor,
time.
if we had a step counter back then, if we were somehow hooked up to like an energy source to power a nuclear
Yeah,
generator or something, like we walked a fucking lot.
we
That
did.
that
We
was one of
did.
our main pastimes was just
Uh huh.
walking.
Yeah, we walked the hell out of those streets. Uh, that's how it should be. I mean, I guess these kids, they get their steps in Minecraft or in Fortnite, but
Yeah.
you
Kids these
know,
days, they don't walk. They can't make a top 40s pop hit with a guitar.
shameful. Shame,
What
shame.
can they do?
Just the TikTok.
And taxes.
Just watch TikTok and do taxes. That's all kids do these days.
Yep.
Next up we have WCW Thunder Rosa from 8 years ago. Thunder Rosa says, "Rip in peace, payphone, 1994 to 1994."
Oh yeah, like that one specific payphone,
Yeah, just
right?
the
Yeah,
payphone. Yeah, yeah,
just the one
just that
payphone.
payphone. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Billy Joe tore it off the
yeah.
receiver, and out of respect, nobody ever picked it up and put it in its
No,
right
yeah.
place.
That's right. That's right. Um, man, I wonder. It's funny because if payphones were still around, I bet people would go to that place and try to find that payphone
Oh
because
yeah,
you
definitely.
can still go to whatever the cemetery is at 39 Smooth and like some Green Day fans will do that shit. I'm sure
Yeah,
people still go to where that payphone was,
they
but
probably do. Yeah,
not there now.
Imagine
I
taking a
can tell you that
picture,
much.
taking a picture of the spot, say, "Oh yeah, the location of the old Green Day payphone.
Right.
It was
Where
right here,
where
right
the pay
now."
used to be.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bush here now. So
Yep.
so sad.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Next one. I feel like I don't know if you were referencing this one before or if it's just similar, but this one's from Joe Black,
Okay.
3623, 2 years ago. They say, our bassist that I've known for 17 years passed away today. This is our favorite song to jam. He was 34. Rest in peace, homie.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I saw that one, but yeah, that's I mean, that is kind of the fair that it's we're getting a lot of these sentimental stories.
Hmm.
It's very sad. I mean, I know perfect, personally, like this song really was it was like, oh cool, I can play this, it's like really easy. And so it was a fun one to jam in band practice, so I can relate. It's very sad.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it does kind of feel like it's like I think that like for other musicians, like sometimes this song might feel a little overlooked, but it seems like bassists have a really strong appreciation for when I
Yeah.
come around particular. And so like to see this comment of like, this person remembering their friend and bassist who, passed away at a young age, it's like obviously that is incredibly, incredibly difficult. But there's something I think kind of sweet about like thinking about this song as like um the song that my friend loved to play.
Yeah,
That's nice.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. Thank you for that, Joe Black. Um, Next up we have James Phobic 6196 from 4 years ago. James says, "So we just going to ignore the fact that Mike's low key the blueprint for e-boys? We're
Wow.
just we're just ignoring this fact."
I I have to say this is a comment I want to make fun of, but I hate that I think they're right. Like
What?
I just immediately understand what this person is saying. I think I agree. I mean, I
I okay.
can we talk about that,
I gotta know. I don't know what is an e-boy. I don't actually know what an e-boy
Connor.
is. You're gonna have to explain
Connor.
this to me.
Well, it's an e-boy is just like someone who has like an alt aesthetic, but like from the current day, it's like the
Okay.
the 2025 alt aesthetic. I think E is sort of short. I think it's actually short for. I don't know if I might be talking out of my ass here. I'm old. If anyone's listening and they know and I'm wrong, you can make fun of me. But what I think is it's E as in like email, like electronic, right? Because it's about
Uh-huh.
like your online persona.
Okay.
But I think there's also crossover with like E as in emo, and
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
it's sort of like yeah, this alt emo kind of expression, and it's very much associated with I think like being deep and reflective and
Okay.
what, but like a bit of a, how do I want to put this, like a boyish bad boy, like boyish good
Okay.
looks, bad boy aesthetic.
Okay.
And I think Mike has an earring in this music video.
Uh-huh.
Like I think he has like this one earring thing going on, and that's kind of like that's definitely like an e-boy kind of thing.
I mean, Connor, you've convinced me. I think, yeah, because I was just ready to rag on this comment too, but
Yeah.
I think they're right. I think Mike is the original e-boy.
Yeah, it's one of those like I would never make that point, but as soon as they said it, I'm like, I can see it.
Yeah, you knew
I can
you
see
knew
it.
it was right. You knew it
Yeah.
was right. In all these years, we thought Billy was the fashion icon of the
Right.
episode of the music video.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. But no, no,
No,
e-boys are not stealing Billy's style. No.
no, no.
No. Billy's style is just a little too hammy. It feels a little too a little too put together and deliberate,
Gotcha.
I think, for the youth of today, which is there's always that irony because obviously the just like when we talk about hipsters at the beginning, the irony is that all the looks are like very much over analyzed and considered, and then you're trying to look like you don't. I mean, everyone knows
Yeah.
that. Anyone who's been in high school fucking knows that. I'm just
It's true.
describing what people think, you know.
It's true. Yeah.
But that's the e-boys deal. So there you go.
Thanks for enlightening us.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you have next?
Okay. Green Day has. Oh wait, this is from Apollo Star 1 2 years
Okay.
ago. Green Day has the easiest songs to play, yet they are some of the best songs ever played. They are legends in making something so simple be a masterpiece.
Hell fucking yeah.
Something we talk about a lot. I just think that this is funny because so then we get this other comment from Red Skies 4530. They're responding. They say, "Hi, I recommended a song called Looking into the Mirror by Robert Nix." And then someone else responds, user not friendly. They say, "No thanks. That song sucks and has nothing to do with this Green Day song."
What?
I just thought that was funny.
That's really mean and aggressive.
Yeah. Well, their username is user not friendly.
Okay, yeah. So I guess that's kind of their shtick.
I think it's maybe their thing.
Still,
Yeah. I think it's maybe their thing.
not very nice. That's yeah. I mean, they're right. They sum it up. Have you heard that other song?
No, I don't know what the fuck they're talking
Yeah,
about.
I don't know, but just I wonder if it's any good. Just maybe we can look it up and see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, I have John Wanda 5745. John says, "Punk band? Guess you lived your life in a treehouse if you believe Green Day has anything to do with punk, or maybe you're just an American."
Wow.
Yeah,
I've never heard that one. You've been living in a treehouse your whole life or
living in a
something?
treehouse. Yeah, I don't. I guess I mean a treehouse is for kids, so I guess you're. But yeah, that's interesting. And then so he thinks obviously he gets the feeling that Americans don't really know what real punk is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we just keep on proving him right.
Yep. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, so that's a funny one.
Yeah. Go listen to a real punk band like the Sex Pistols.
Yeah. Somebody who realizes the true punk has always been anti-establishment.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you like Biden?
Yeah.
That's what John Lydon thinks, the guy from the
Uh-huh.
Sex Pistols.
Uh-huh.
The Sex Pistols are touring this year, but with a new frontman.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're doing a Queen, pulling a Queen.
Yeah, I just feel like if you can't get the whole gang back together, then I don't know. It doesn't seem quite right. And there's exceptions to that. I mean, there just are exceptions to that. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Yeah, I mean, get John Lydon back. It's
But
okay. He may be the Morrissey of punk, but he's the original guy. Get him back. Let him sing those songs. Who cares?
yeah. Never mind all the shit he said.
Yeah.
Here's the Sex Pistols.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
Okay, here's my last one. This is from Jesse Rivera, 9885, 4 years ago. They say, "To anyone reading this, don't wait for that person who left you. Enjoy what you have at the moment because it will all be gone one day. Much love to all of you."
Yeah, that's a good one. Jesse Rivera, thank you. We salute you.
Yeah.
This is just a nice, poignant comment.
Yeah, just trying to kind of give a swift kick in the pants to anyone who needs to dry their whining eyes, I guess.
Anyone who is roaming for the moment, sleaze in their backyards, so don't get. Anyone who's doing that,
Yeah. Yep.
Uh, Yeah, that's a good one. All right, I got a few left here. We have a name, 68, 65 from 6 years ago. They say, legend has it they are still walking to this day. They just look different, and it's Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
I like that one.
Yeah,
That's funny.
it's I know it is just it's funny to think that they just never stopped walking and eventually became the characters in
Right.
Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yeah, no, I would love to see an edit where like it transitions where,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like just walking in from one music video to the next.
that would be fun. Yeah, that's if there's any creative listeners, make it happen, make it happen. And then this guy is replying to that post. Dead Flag 7030 replies and says, "Okay, I get it's a joke, but I gotta say it. They were actually getting out of the car at the beginning of Boulevard of Broken Dreams, since the video takes place right after Holiday. So it's impossible they're the same. It's impossible that they never stopped walking.
Yeah.
I get that you're trying to make a joke, but I just wanted to set the record straight."
Right, yeah, if you consider the beginning of the music video,
It's
yeah,
so fucking silly.
yeah. I mean, they're
Okay,
they're not wrong, but I
no, I
don't
know.
like the comment.
No, it's not. It's not needed. Next up, Pilo from 5 days ago says
Hey, wow, okay.
I was a teen in the '90s, worry free, young, full of dreams, and this played on radio stations. So nowadays, when I'm older, broken by the world, dead inside, this song is just a reminder of those lovely distant times.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's kind of an extreme version of that sentiment a lot of people are voicing because
it is. It is.
they're just like, "Man, everything gets worse," you know?
Yeah, but at least you have the memory of those distant times
Right, to
that you
make
once
yourself feel
cherished.
horrible
Yeah,
in the present moment because you're comparing your current day garbage life to when you were happy, like, 3
yeah.
decades ago.
Exactly. It's pretty sad.
So
So this is kind of like the other end of the spectrum from that comment. This is
mm,
my final comment here.
mhm, mhm.
Um, this is from LJ271 from 5 years ago. LJ says, I was born in 1920 and I'm listening to this. Went to see a Green Day tribute band live, popped one of my eardrums, still going strong.
When was this comment made?
1920. No,
No.
sorry. Oh my god. This comment was left in 2020. So this person was 100 years old, apparently.
Hmm,
What do you
I
think
don't
about
know.
that?
I don't know. I was ready to believe, but it just I mean, it's pretty old.
It's pretty. I mean, okay. So for real, this person could have been 99 at the writing of this comment. I mean, there's Connor. There are handfuls of 99-year-olds roaming this earth. They exist. They do exist, and some of them are in like some of them are like freaks and they actually are capable and walk around for themselves and do things. So I mean, it's not impossible.
Yeah. Plus, I guess we gotta consider it doesn't mean that they whatever Green Day concert they're referencing, they saw
Oh
at the
yeah,
time of
it
maybe
doesn't have to be
they were,
recently.
like, 70 something.
Exactly. Yeah, they were probably in their 70s. But I mean, if this is true, Connor, this is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, no, that would absolutely be amazing. I wish I could get some confirmation on this because I it's amazing enough that I'll be honest, I was thinking, like, maybe comment of the day material, but
I know.
I'm just worried that, I'm falling for a story here.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a safe bless you.
Thank
It
you.
would be a safe bet for us though, because like they're almost certainly dead now and would not be able to reclaim the prize.
That's true. That would make our lives a lot easier.
Yeah. So I mean, it's up in the air. We'll see. Connor, who do you think wins comment of the day?
Here's the 2 comments I'm actually between. Um, the one comment I read where the guy was just like, "Oh, man, they're just walking. Like,
Yeah.
it's a completely normal thing.
Oh
I
man.
love
Yeah.
it."
Yeah.
And then, Mike being the original E-boy. Those
Wow.
are the two in my mind. We read a lot of
You
comments.
read a lot of comments,
A
I know.
lot of them were very heartfelt and sentimental and poignant, and I love those comments. I love hearing those stories. But today, I'm feeling these two.
Yeah, no, I think those are good choices. I'm gonna have to say, wow, these guys are just walking around like normal guys, just
Yeah.
being themselves.
All right.
Because I mean, it really does, like, that really is the video.
Yeah.
And it's funny that it's like so surprising, like,
Yeah.
because I mean, usually music videos are not like that. So, um, I don't know, just it's a very interesting comment, and it just goes to it makes me think people don't walk around anymore.
That's
So,
true. What
which
happens,
is
you
which
know?
is sad. We used to be a society where
Why,
people
like,
walked
people
around.
talk about walkable cities, not
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah, not
They're
anymore.
gone.
No,
They're gone.
no
You gotta
walkable
move
cities.
to Europe if you want a walkable city.
Yeah, yeah, and nobody wants to do that
Nope. It's
because they
if
don't. Because the portions of the are like tiny. They're
That's right.
they're teeny tiny portions.
The only thing they really have going on over there is real punk music, and that's
Yeah,
about
they
it.
have real punk music and they have bidets. That's about it.
Yes, it's true. Both things you can import to America, by the way.
That's true for a fee, for a fee.
Yeah, the comment. This was. I love how they're just walking around like it's a normal everyday thing for them, just being themselves. Love it. Great comment.
That is a great
So,
comment.
hey, that's from Jonathan Dunn 2709 3 months ago.
All right.
Jonathan Dunn 2709. If you are listening, please reach out to us. You are the winner for comment of the day. So get in contact with us so you can claim your prize.
Please, please do. Before we wrap up, Connor, I did want to mention Billy Joe. He's back on Instagram after 2 days of being off, saying he was gone. He was taking a social media break. I think it's funny. I think he has trouble not being on social media when the band is active and playing, because I think he wants to show off his like like the shows and his adventures traveling on
Yeah.
tour and stuff. I think he has a hard time being off of it during tour. Um, but he posted a picture of him in China. Kind you sent this to me, and he attached a song to that post, which was a cover of "When I Come Around" by the
Hmm.
artist called Nap Eyes. Connor, you sent this to me uh, earlier today. What did you think of this Nap Eyes cover? And we did watch some music video too.
We did.
And also, is Nap Eyes in E Boy?
Yes. First off, unequivocally, 100%. If you're
Wow.
wondering, like, what
Okay.
does an e-boy look like? Nap eyes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Um, Good call. Uh, yeah, I liked it. I think it's just cool that Billy has this cover. It seems like this is probably just a really really small indie, thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know where, unless I'm just way off the pulse, which is
That's possible.
entirely possible. But I'm like it's cool that Billy attached this to his picture. I think it's a cool cover because I like that it is effectively exactly the same, and yet obviously has a very different kind of feeling to it.
Yeah.
So it's funny to listen to the cover because it's the exact same riff, it's the exact same melody. Um, it's just done in this very sparse
Yeah.
kind of way.
Yeah, exactly. There's different accentuations, and yeah, it's very scaled back and minimalist. There's like some slide guitar ish going
Yes,
on, which is
yes.
pretty cool. Yeah, it was nice, and the vocals are true to the song, but also like he's doing his own thing, so
Hmm.
it was pretty cool. And the video is like very much like Generation Z, like bisexual lighting.
Yeah.
I guess it's like it would be like e-boy style
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
absolutely.
That's what I would
And
call it.
and we were saying before, like, oh, how many music videos are kind of stealing the style or aesthetic or whatever when I come around. But at least this one is covering when I come around, so it makes
Yes.
sense that they're
Yeah.
basically just doing when I come around again.
Yeah. Very true.
because they are, you know.
You might as well just cover the song if you want to do a music video. It's that's ripping it off.
Yeah.
All right, Connor. Anything else you want to shout out or cover before we wrap it up for the evening?
You know, I was just gonna mention that uh now that we've kind of concluded our When I Come Around discussion, of course, as Green Day fans, the songs that we're going to be talking about, these last handful of songs on Dookie, because we're getting close to the end here now.
We are.
You know, I would say that they're big, exciting songs for us to talk about. But When I Come Around really is like the last mainstream crossover hit that we're going to be
Yeah.
talking. So
Yeah, it's true.
it feels like a bit of a turning point in our Dookie discussion.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
Yeah.
Um, it's going to be quite some time before we get another like big radio crossover hit, or like we'll even the next big single. I think it's debatable whether it's one of the heavy hitters or not. So
Right.
we'll see. That'll be that's a great point, and it's
Mhm.
also kind of like a bit of freedom. We can be we're like, yeah, not as much pressure on us talking about the non singles. As
Yeah.
I know you feel the same way. So
Oh, yeah, because it's like,
um, the big
because just some Green Day songs are more important than others.
you
Sorry.
know unfortunately that's what our society tells us to believe. So we're under it's tough.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, folks, thank you for listening, thank you for watching. If you want to follow us, we are on social media. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Green Dudes Pod. We're on Blue Sky as well, but I don't really use it. That might change at some point, I don't know. You can email us at greendudespod@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story, your connection to When I Come Around, or anything else that you can tell us your e-boy journey if you want to, or I don't know, or like how if I wanted to become an e-boy, how I would do that. Give me advice to become an e-boy. I don't know. Am I an
You
e-boy?
need Connor,
I don't
I can
know.
tell you you're not.
Okay.
You need just one, ear piercing. You need
Uh
a dangly ear,
okay.
a dangly earring. You need one
Diggly ear.
dangly earring, and
Okay.
then you'll that's all you're missing, and then you'll be an e-boy.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'll think about that. Yeah, you can shoot us an email. If you want to be nice and generous with your time and effort, go on to Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice rating and a nice review and 5-star rating. Same thing with Spotify podcasts. Connor, what song are we doing next episode?
I always wanna say 17, but Connor, we're gonna be talking Coming Clean.
Coming Clean. Fuck yeah. Okay, cool. That'll be a really fun one. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, folks, until next time, as always,
Stay
stay
punk.
punk. All right, we did it.
Yep.
And now the stream is over too. Goodbye, everyone.
Peace.